Welcome to Lindamood-Bell Radio. I'm Dave Hungerford for Lindamood-Bell. Lindamood-Bell has pioneered programs to develop the sensory cognitive processes that underlie reading and comprehension. Our experience, quality of instruction, and commitment to ongoing research are the keys to our success. We're committed to making a difference in the lives of children and adults we're fortunate enough to serve. For more information, visit us at lindamoodbell.com. Today's episode is a conversation my colleague Owen had with parents of a Lindamood-Bell Learning Center student in Southern California. Here it is.
I'm Jim.
I'm Sherry.
Our son is Jason. Jason's 11 years old. He attends McPherson Magnet School, and he's just started middle school. So this year, he was very excited to get back into middle school.
And so he's 11 years old. He's going into middle school. What are some of the challenges that he's?
It's like, where do I start? He definitely has a lot of delays with reading and comprehension. He has language processing issues. He's got, what else?
Well, the language, he has receptive and expressive language delay. And a lot of that, I think, has gone into what his reading comprehension problems were.
And he does have a diagnosis of autism. And so, there's so much going on under the spectrum there that we were thankful to get this opportunity to come to Lindamood-Bell to address more than just the reading comprehension. This program's helped in so many ways.
Tell me about the history, like in terms of diagnosis for him. Like, when did you guys get diagnosed at first? Like, what did that look like?
He got diagnosed by our pediatrician at the age of 3, and so we took him to a neurologist, and she diagnosed him with autism and said, get ready for the fight of your life. And so we've been going strong with that ever since, just working on different, getting him speech and OT and ABA, behavioral therapy. And so he's been in therapy since he was 3 and intensive, ongoing. So we were very excited to be able to, not only this summer, but last summer, attend Lindamood-Bell. So it's been great going into starting 5th and now middle school. This last summer was just amazing for him. Really, really made a difference. And I think that's what gave him the confidence. Like, he was up at 3 in the morning the first day of school going, Mom, I'm so excited. And never went back to sleep. We were both up, but he was so excited to start school. And I think that gave him the confidence after being here all summer, going straight there, knowing I can do this. So I was happy to see that.
You talked about this last summer being really great. What was the difference about last summer, this summer, and just like what he's done here? What do you think is like the difference about Lindamood-Bell?
I think part of it, of course, any kid having a summer wants to have their summer. And at first, he wasn't the happiest having to work through summer. But one of the things that Lindamood-Bell does when they're here, they don't just work. During their breaks, they think of all kinds of ways to make it fun for the child to be here.
So you were saying that not every kid likes having their summer taken away, obviously.
Right. So they do as many activities as they can during break times and make it fun for them to be here. And they make it, the work they do, they figure out ways to reward them. And I think they individualize it to each kid, what motivates them the best. By the end of this year, when he graduated and to start on the last day of summer before he started school, when they were saying goodbye, Jason was actually in tears because he was sad he was going to miss the people here.
And I think the first summer was the hardest. He started at a 2nd, 3rd grade level, and he was going to be going into 5th grade. It was hard for him at first. So coming in here, I think this summer, he already kind of knew the program, but he was starting at a 5th and 6th grade level this summer. So it made such a difference where I think that, things started to click and he was in a good momentum to really get a lot more out of the program this year than when you first start and it's all new and it makes it a little more difficult. But once he got it, I wish I had one more week here because he was really on a roll towards the end. So it was amazing. And like he said, he was in tears and, was going to miss the whole staff. And I, told him where we were going today. And he's like, tell everybody hi. So he would wish could come with us. But I'm like, no, you got to go to school today.
Is that response, like you said, he was bummed to have to leave, disappointed that it was his last day, in tears, can I come, I wish I could go back. Is that kind of a response a common thing in his, academic life thus far? Is that kind of a common deal for him?
I haven't seen him get that emotional over. He likes people, and he forms
some teachers at the end of the school years, some, not all, and definitely last summer was not as emotional as this summer was. Just even we were halfway through and he was thinking about the last day and already started getting upset. I'm like, honey, you still have 2 to 3 weeks left. So,
definitely more than we've seen him in the past.
So even started tearing up for Tia, the director here. She's like, let's get through this test before he started losing it.
It's great to see him so involved and so, happy to be somewhere, to learn.
You guys talked about when he was 3, you got diagnosed. What is that like as a parent to go through that, that diagnosis?
Emotionally, it's devastating at the time because
heartbreaking.
One, not having to deal with it, we don't know a lot about autism or even what solutions are. We didn't know anything. So it was a definite mourning period before we started learning what could be done and solutions. And of course, the whole time, even today, we worry. So the more progress we make, the more we can see him getting that next level, definitely helps us emotionally as well. So.
And we had no idea of the struggles and fights that you have to go through to get the districts to do what they supposed to do to get that help that your children need. And, it's when you start the process, I was thinking, getting him just into preschool was hard and getting him the right help. And now we're at middle school and it's not any easier and a little more stressful. And we're looking at him going to 6th grade camp in a few weeks. And that's like his first overnight camping trip away from us. So, thankfully he has a full-time shadow with him that gets to go. So I feel a little better, but
that'll be really good. What did you see, some parents have like an aha moment while they're in Lindamood, while their kids are Lindamood-Bell, and they see something that they say like, wow, this is, there's obviously sometimes some skepticism, is this going to be a difference maker? Obviously you guys came back for 2 summers, so something went right. Was there a moment that you said, wow, this is working?
I think for me, I noticed last year, especially towards the end of the year, and with Jason, sometimes things take a while, but when it clicks, it clicks. It doesn't always, I didn't see immediate change right after, he got done with Lindamood-Bell in the summer and then went to school. But by the end of summer, he was getting done so much, things were clicking. He was really moving along. And usually the end of the year is harder because the beginning's review, the end, they're actually learning new concepts and things. And he got through. They have a computer program of math. First year he ever finished it early and got the principal's award. So, and there wasn't the struggle with homework anymore, fighting him and him going through his Rolodex of excuses of why he wasn't going to start it right away. But he did so much better. And then I think we see him talking more.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So much more language out of him, asking questions more and having that confidence to have a conversation.
Because he's here, or was here last summer for 4 hours a day, having to talk the whole time. I've told Sherry that I think I saw more progress in his expressive language from this program than in all the years of speech that he had.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he was expressing his feelings. Never did that before, and it was huge. That's the huge difference.
And so we're excited to see the change at school this year, and him being able to read and comprehend and getting the inferences and the main ideas and that we worked on all summer. So I'm excited to see that. He's barely been in 1 week. So
What do you think it's going to mean for him? I mean, to be able to communicate more effectively with expressive language, to utilize all the skills that he's learned here, both in terms of decoding, I think last year, right, decoding, and then this year both with mostly comprehension work. What do you think?
I don't know if you have enough time to say what it would mean. I mean, socially, it's going to mean a huge thing for him to just, one, keep up with the others in the work, express himself to his friends, just talking. Jason's a very social person, but he's still learning how to be social, how to talk to his friends. And that jump in his expressive language is going to make a huge difference.
Well, his one teacher came up to us already and said what a pleasure he is. He's doing so great in our class, and he's raising his hands and asking questions and answering questions. So he's got that confidence to do that now. So
Is that different?
I think so, yeah. So it's great to see that he's getting more involved, and I think he's understanding the conversations better, what are actually being talked about in the classroom. So he actually feels like he can participate now. So that's a major thing, I think.
And just describing things where before he'd jump into the middle of the end of what he was describing. Now, more and more, he's starting from the beginning, building that foundation so whoever he's talking to understands what the subject is before he goes into the details. So, there's so many things that it's going to make a huge difference for him.
What are things that he likes to do? Like hobbies, like paint a picture for us of like, what kind of a kid is he?
Well, we as parents, because he is our only child, we've been married 27 years, together 34, and we have an 11-year-old. So he took a while. And it can be because my brothers don't have kids either. He's an only child. So it can be, especially with the diagnosis, very isolating feeling. And some families I know would rather stay in the house and not, because there's so much to deal with in a day. But my view was to get him out in the world and do as many things as possible so he could hang out with his friends. So we take him to the skateboard park. He is a competitive roller skater, so I skate with my son, and we both compete together every Saturday morning. We're there from 6:50 till noon every day. He now is, and he went to the Southwest Regional competition and received 2 gold medals. So he did amazing there. And now he's been doing karate for 6 years and working on his black belt. So we constantly are going and trying to do, whether it's riding a bike, like I said, skateboard, all these skills he can learn so he can just hang out with his friends and be able, there's so many other things going on, but if we can take out the fact he doesn't know how to ride a bike or skateboards, and he can just hang with them and have a normal conversation and have that confidence to be with his friends, then, I try and do as much as I can with him and get him out. Golfing too, he does. So we keep him busy.
Sounds like he's got some social things happening too that are pretty good. They're good experiences.
Yeah, that's our emphasis has been very much his whole life on being social, because that's a hard challenge.
How do you think being able to have, you said you do competitive roller skating, like what should I picture for that? Like because I have some friends who do like roller derby.
Yeah, no, this is actually like ice skating, but it's on roller skates.
Cool.
So he's doing
ice skating kind of moves,
spins and jumps,
freestyle, figures,
Yeah.
creative.
mapes, and so yes, he does creative routines. He does figures, and he does freestyle skating. And then we did a duet together that we skated. I was Jesse and he was Woody, and we skated what A Friend Like Me. Is that you got a friend in me?
You got a friend in me, yeah.
So that was really fun. We got silver, so we were happy with that. But it's something that I can do with him, and all three of us roller skate together as a family. So it's just a good environment for him, and there's a lot of kids to get him out every Saturday morning and do that with. And we skate 2-3 times a week. But yeah, it's actually like ice skating. And where we skate, there's actually world-class skaters are going to Italy for Worlds this year. So Jason skates with all these people, and it's just a good...
His coaches are actually class.
Good environment for him.
Cool. That's awesome. What were your first impressions of Lindamood-Bell when you guys came here? What did you think he was going to get out of it? How hopeful were you in terms of making a change for him?
Well, we had heard a lot and done some research about Lindamood-Bell.
And actually, Jason goes to see a neuropsychologist, and she was the one that, in her recommendations, recommended you guys. And
also, our Jason's advocate that helps us out also spoke very highly of Lindamood-Bell.
So going in, I would say we had very high expectations. We were very excited to have the opportunity to come here, and Jason work with the staff. So, and I have to say that we weren't surprised by the results, and we could tell that, he did make a big improvement, and I'm excited to see this school year. But I feel like by the end, he was really on a roll. Like I said, one more week, it always doesn't seem, long enough.
I know the feeling.
We didn't want it to end.
For sure. In doing something competitively like skating, and having to, for example, take coaching or take feedback and be able to picture it and then do it and implement it, is that something that you've seen any change in terms of ability to more directly take coaching and be able to picture what the coaches are asking him to do and then implement that?
Absolutely, I think.
That's the receptive language part of it.
Before.
Yes, definitely we've seen improvements there. We've definitely seen improvement in Jason's receptive language ability, following instructions. You did bring up about our coaches being able to take instructions for him on what to do, and we've seen a big jump in his progress there.
He's learning new elements quicker, I think, where they thought, we're going to start this, but it's going to be a little hard for him, and they're like, he did it first try too. So just seeing the difference, and a lot of it has to do with him understanding more clearly what they're saying and the directions easier.
And where he used to get frustrated a lot because of that, having a hard time with that, he's excited about that now. It's his self-esteem is something. He comes jumping off the skating rink, excited about everything. So it makes him happier too.
What's that like, having to kind of advocate all the time?
Well, there's a lot of services that these kiddos need. They have sensory issues. They have, language issues. He has audio processing issues, and every single one of these issues there's a therapy for it, and to fight to get that for him it can be a little difficult. I'm sure anybody who's in this process knows. So it's just been constant his whole life.
Some years we have 8 IEPs because we don't take no for an answer. We know that he needs the help, and we keep plugging away and really making sure he gets the help that he needs.
But going back to the beginning part, when we were so devastated, we always tell parents that we see starting this out is, because we've seen so much progress in him. Stay at it, be diligent, because there is hope. It's not a death sentence. It's autism, and there's ways for them to cope with what autism is. And if you get the right services, there's a good outcome. There are some successful people in this world with autism, and he's going to be one of them.
I always tell parents, if the districts are offering you a certain level of service, your kids need more than that. They're not going to give their kids what they need. You always have to fight for more.
I have I'm just talking to these guys now. I have a sister who got diagnosed as a 28-year-old, like mild, but
I've heard of that a lot, not until they're adults, and then how did she feel about it?
I mean, it was a question I had. I mean, I worked at Lindamood-Bell well before she got diagnosed, and so like, it was like, has anybody ever asked you if you're autistic or like has a question? No, not really. Okay.
So you saw it?
Well, yeah, and my mom worked at Lindamood-Bell when I was growing up. Like,
oh wow, yeah, it's a long history.
But it had just never been something. I think if she was 3 or 4 now, she'd be diagnosed quick.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be easy.
Yeah.
Even before that, nowadays, even earlier than when Jason was.
Right. I mean, she's 30, she's 32 or something like that, and so like it's just interesting, like just generationally, how much is available comparatively to what her school never, our school never knew what to do with her. Okay, she could read okay. She could get facts, kind of, but critical thinking wasn't there, and receptive and expressive language wasn't fast. And she'd get jokes like 5 minutes later. She'd chuckle, and it was funny at the time because I'm her big brother, and like I'd tell a joke, and then 5 minutes later, she'd get it. But like socially, that's just crippling.
We did that with Jason. I remember when he was real little, I told him some kind of a thing that was silly, and he didn't respond to it, so I didn't even think about it. And 5 minutes later, he answered it,
Yeah, and like, okay, like... And
she had to get to the right... Took a while to get to the right place.
Yeah.
She did some Lindamood-Bell in her 20s and some VV, and I could tell talking to her on the phone. I lived in Florida at the time, but like her confidence in what she was saying was what she was trying to say. What she was understanding was exactly what I was trying to tell her.
Yeah.
There's like a confidence level in terms of interaction that it's really cool to see, and it sounds like that's a...
We wait a long time to have a conversation with him, and now we're having conversations with him, and the camera should have been rolling. We waited a long time since Jason was little to have a conversation with him. We saw other people talking to their 3-year-olds, and now we're having conversations back and forth, and it's great.
And thanks to this program, had we not done it, he wouldn't be where he's at right now. That was his hardest thing. It's like, Mom, they make me talk the whole time. And now it's so much easier for him. He doesn't even feel like it's a stressful situation. But when he first started, it was pulling teeth. And now he's just, going and going and going. And the staff was amazing here, I have to say. He was looking forward every minute to come and saying hi to everybody. They were just amazing. Just amazing.
Wouldn't change it at all if I had to do it again.
And thank you for listening. You can reach us at our website, lindamoodbell.com, or call us at 800-233-1819. You can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X. We are Lindamood-Bell.